What's up, fellas? It's time for Wake Up Mintzy, coming to you from God's country in Oxford, Mississippi. I'm in good spirits this morning, as always, because football season's just one day closer. I mean, you can feel it in the air, and especially being around Oxford and being around Ole Miss. I've never seen enthusiasm level quite like this. Getting ready for football season. As always, Wake Up Mintzy, presented by the fine folks of Dude Wipes. You can find them at Target, Amazon, Walmart, and all over the World Wide Web. One use of Dude Wipes will change your life. I've actually been going around everywhere, and people are just complimenting Dude Wipes to me. And why wouldn't they be? It's an amazing product. And when it's hot as hell in the summer, there's nothing better to keep you clean and fresh than some nice Dude Wipes. A bunch of stuff going on, as always. Camp Barstool rocking up in northern Wisconsin. Thought the content was great yesterday. Jerry After Dark, especially a lot of fun, as always. Jerry doing the camping thing. Everybody's doing their shows from up there. It looks beautiful. I can't wait to see what day 2 of Camp Barstool looks like, presented by Mountain Dew. I'm down here in Mississippi this week, having a good time, getting to do some cool stuff. Yesterday, after Wake Up Mintzy, got to go to football practice. Man, you can just sense the energy around Ole Miss. Ole Miss coming into this year, over-under 9.5 wins on DraftKings. Most hyped up season in school history, number 6 preseason. It's kind of playoffs or bust, which is crazy for the Ole Miss expectations. But you could just sense the seriousness of it being at practice. Got to see Jackson Dart make a bunch of throws. Trey Harris out there catching balls. It was good to see everyone. Got me some new gear for the football season. And I even got to hold up the defensive signals for a second, which was kind of funny, to say the least. I guess, I wear many hats, but that was kind of a little bit of a thrill for me in practice. And, Ole Miss dealing with some injuries right now, holding out some receivers, especially Juice Wells and Jordan Watkins, who are coming off stuff from last year. But overall, the spirit's high in camp. The front seven's dominating, but that's a good problem to have because they're so loaded up front. And, just spirits are high here, right? Got to have a fun day in Oxford yesterday. Went to dinner with my old dean of students, which is cool. He's a trip, Sparky Reardon, the real Oxford celebrity, as I posted on Twitter. It was fun being around Oxford with him because so many people more people know him than me here. He's a legend. And then had like a lot of fun last night running. I had just kind of, I don't know, feeling like a little bit in the spirit of things. Went for like an 51-minute run around the campus and the square at sunset, ran through the Grove and ran by all the little frat houses and sorority houses and stuff. It was cool. It was really a lot of fun, just kind of feeling the vibe, a lot of good memories, and just feeling good with football coming. I mean, I know everybody feels the same way. I mean, this thing can't get here fast enough. College football, new enthusiasm with Oklahoma and Texas coming to the SEC. You got the 12-team playoffs. And, starts on Saturday with Florida State and Georgia Tech in week 0, playing in Ireland, and then you got SMU Nevada, and the next Thursday things really, really get rolling. And I've been looking at DraftKings lines a lot, futures, just getting in the spirit of this deal. Looking forward to another day today. Going to go out to practice again today. Going to catch up with Walker Jones of the Grove Collective. They're doing a big giving week this week. Looking forward to seeing him. I'm trying to run down Ray Thompson for tomorrow. I ran into him last night at Proud Larry's. So obviously, Ole Miss legend there. One of the best writers in the world. And coming off this Pardon My Take appearance last week with Mickey Hart. They just released Rhythm Masters on ESPN Films. Big Cat and them loved it, which I thought was cool. As always, Tyler Moody joining us from Louisiana. How are you doing this morning, Moody?
Doing good, man. I see a bunch of people in the chat rolling in from the Jerry After Dark stream. And it seems like they're not real pleased with Jerry, Ben. I guess
Really?
He cut the stream short, didn't catch a fish, and cut the stream short. And the people are a little disappointed. They say that you should call Jerry out for that, but I don't know if you got the cojones to do it.
Oh, man. I feel like Jerry's probably been up all night. If I'm going to call him out, I don't know if I would do it right now. I'm sure he's probably a little frazzled right now, feeling it. Jerry's always a man that gives the people what they want. And that campfire stream, the camp stream is pretty funny one for sure. Catching fish, though, I feel Jerry's pain, Moody. Sometimes catching fish isn't the easiest thing. Do you ever fish?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up fishing. My grandpa used to take me and my cousins fishing every, couple of weeks, it felt like. So I've spent a ton of time out there on the water. We used to do a lot of like white perch fishing where I was at out on Toledo Bend. Dude, I'm talking, you'd cast it out there and you just catch one after the other after the other. It was a lot of fun. Did a lot of bass fishing as well. Obviously, when you're bass fishing, we're talking about a completely different type of fishing where you got to really grind to catch some fish. But I enjoy it. I don't go as much as I used to, but I mean, fishing and hunting, one of the more manly things that you can do, you know?
Well, I feel like you're calling me out because I'm very poor at both.
I feel like we need to see you. I'll tell you what, we don't even have to take you fishing. The next time I'm in Chicago, I'm going to bring in a hook, a line, and some bait. We're going to see if you can even put the hook on the line, and then if you can bait the hook. I feel like for you, that would be a monumental task.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest. Fishing requires a lot of patience. I mean, I had fun going to Venice with Sydney Wells for Out of Office last year. We went deep sea fishing, and I caught like 10 fish.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. But I don't know, man, the fishing and hunting thing, I know obviously being from Louisiana, it's sportsman's paradise. But Moody, I think when it comes to hunting, I'm the most likely person in the world to get in like a hunting accident.
Yeah, we should probably keep guns away from you.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like guns and me, a lot of things could happen.
Have you shot a gun before?
Yeah, I have shot a gun.
Yeah.
I remember when I was like in third grade, the first time I shot a shotgun, the kick on the 20 gauge like knocked me down.
Yeah, no, I remember doing that as a young kid. It feels, and then you shoot it again as an adult, and you're like, this isn't bad. But as a kid, when you shoot one, it feels like it's a Mack truck in your hands.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, it's crazy. But like I said, everybody's real big into duck hunting and dove hunting and all that kind of stuff. And the dove hunting opens. It's always Labor Day weekend. That's a huge thing in the South. But generally on Labor Day weekend, Moody, you know what I'm worried about? College football week 1. And it's here. It's upon us. And, it's kind of can't really come quick enough. But, I mean, I'm getting excited, man. I'm in the spirit of this thing. And obviously being around Oxford and Ole Miss is making that even more of a reality. And just the enthusiasm around this team, it's crazy. People are so excited. I mean, it's all people are talking about.
Yeah, I mean, obviously what they did in the transfer portal was it one of the best jobs ever in the transfer portal?
Yeah, definitely. They're the number 1 transfer class, and basically went around the SEC rating all their rosters. And it's kind of surreal to me seeing people leave Alabama to come play at Ole Miss, and Florida and all these powerhouse, traditional programs. But it's a new day, boys. It's a new freaking day.
Well, it truly is a new day. I mean, the landscape of college football has changed drastically because of this NIL situation. And schools like Ole Miss that have that money can make it happen, and a coach that's willing to make it happen are going to be the teams that move to the forefront now. And Ole Miss is right there.
Oh, yeah. So getting super excited about that. And, looking forward to making some games at LSU October 12th. Especially can't come fast enough. What you laughing at?
I'm just laughing at E. Hoskins saying SEC preview day 37. Hey, listen, there is nowhere better to come get your SEC previews than right here on Mintzy, Wake Up Mintzy. And then a lot of
look, I'm ready for all of college football.
Yeah, no doubt.
I was going to talk some other stuff.
We will. I was just, got to get to the chat. They're saying that Jerry last night got a $310 donation to jump in the lake, and then did not jump in the lake, didn't catch a fish, and ended up sleeping on stream. That doesn't sound like Jerry to me.
It doesn't sound like Jerry. I mean, look, I'm not going to say anything negative about Jersey Jerry. Look, I saw him walk a whole marathon until 7 in the morning all night on a treadmill. And
I think Jerry has set the bar so high for himself because of all the great streams that he's done that people are a little bit disappointed when he doesn't reach that pinnacle, because he really has set the bar for live streams.
That hole-in-one stream where he was hitting golf balls for 2 or 3 days, and I think he got like 8 or 10 million views, and you got Tom Brady tweeting at him. Yeah. That's a hard one to live up to every week. That's for sure. But the Camp Barstool stuff's looking good.
The Camp. I watched some of it yesterday. Obviously, I didn't grind out Jerry After Dark last night, but some of the Camp Barstool stuff was cool. I saw them playing a baseball, softball yesterday out there on the field. Always interesting to see certain people swing a bat. I'm not going to call anybody out, but it's always fun to see people swings. Something that sticks out to me, obviously being a former baseball player.
Well, I mean, Moody, the guy that just said on the Fantasy Football Factory pod that you saw Caleb Williams swing a bat, and so now you're off to drafting.
Well, I wasn't going to touch Caleb Williams anyways, and then I saw him swing a baseball bat, and it made it that much worse. Here's my thought on that. Damn near every single quarterback in the NFL was an elite high school baseball player. I mean, almost all of them. I mean, Kyler Murray was a draft pick. You know what I mean?
He's ninth over. He's a first round.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. A first rounder. Yeah. So many of these guys were elite high school baseball players, and not only probably swing a baseball bat and look a lot better than Caleb Williams, but I think they're going to be better on the field too. It's just my opinion. I know it's stupid, but it is something that matters to me as an overall athlete.
I think that's fair. I mean, I'm a believer in, like, when people are kids, we live in this travel ball era now. I think playing multiple sports instead of focusing on one's like a good, healthy thing.
Mm-hmm.
And, I know that's like a big debate in youth sports these days, but I think it's good to have variety.
For sure. No, I agree with that.
Speaking of the Bears, okay, we'll go the pro football angle today because people mess with me about the SEC thing.
We can hit everything. We're just
we will. Shit. I know. What do you think what would be a successful season for the Bears this year, you think?
I think, success in the minds of Chicago fans feels like it's got to be 11-5. I mean,
I don't know about that.
The hype there, dude, I mean, everywhere you look, these people are overhyping this team right now. I mean, but it feels like for them to hit where they're at, they need to go 10-6 or 11-5. I mean, based on the hype around this, where do I think they'll finish? I think they're 8-9 or 9-8. I think they're right there about 500, potentially fighting their way for a playoff spot. I just, I'm a little more down on them than everybody else. I think they're going to be a middle of the road team, at least in year one for Caleb Williams.
Well, look, I think 9-8 successful. I think a winning year and him showing progress would be successful. And speaking of, talking about football season hype, you aren't kidding about the Chicago thing, man. They're going nuts about the Bears right now.
They are, man. They're overhyping it just a bit. I'm talking about from the Chicago standpoint hype. It feels like he has to be 10-6, 11-5, that this is a playoff team. Everything you're hearing, they're playoff bound. I don't think they're there. I think this is an 8-9, 9-8 football team. And if Caleb Williams is possibly what I think he could be, we're talking about a 7-10 team here.
Yeah. Well, I feel like my one concern with him is watching him. I mean, it's not his athleticism. It's just that he holds onto the ball so long. Mm-hmm. And I think that could be a problem at some point this year if he doesn't get the ball out a little quicker. Do you like Rome Odunze?
I do like Rome Odunze. He's, especially if Keenan Allen really is slowing down just a little bit. If he were to pull a hamstring, Rome Odunze, takes over the number 2 spot. He's big body, quick. I mean, Odunze's he's talented. He, without question, dude can play. And I think he's in a really good situation here moving forward. He may not light the world on fire in year one, but this is a guy that with Caleb Williams, they should grow into a great duo moving forward.
Do you like Green Bay or Detroit more this year?
Detroit, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm fading Jordan Love. I know everybody else is on it seems like people are on Chicago and Green Bay's bandwagon, and those are two teams that for me, I just can't get behind enough at the moment. I trust Green Bay more than I trust Chicago, but I still think that Detroit is the head of the class here.
Do you think Detroit can make the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I think they could. The problem is there's some tough matchups for them. I think San Francisco's a bad matchup for them, even though
they should have won that game.
They should have. I still think it's a bad matchup. San Francisco played a poor game and still found a way to win that one. So I don't know. I think I don't know. They're right there. The thing is, the Cowboys are not going to be as good. The Eagles are a team that we don't know where their head's going to be going into the season. It seems like there's all kinds of turmoil in the locker room there. So, I think the Lions they should be a top 3 team moving forward in the NFC.
Yeah, you mentioned the Cowboys thing, and you're a Cowboys fan. Do you feel like there's going to be some regression this year? What do you think?
Slight regression. Losing Dan Quinn is tough. I mean, Dan Quinn, he has proven to be one of the best defensive coordinators in this league, and the way the Cowboys were playing last year defensively was incredibly impressive. They played above their heads. Offensively, if Dak is the same, it ain't as smooth as you thought it was.
No, it wasn't very smooth.
I mean, as far as the offense is concerned, as long as CD Lamb resigns, I think the Cowboys will be fine offensively. They're going to sling it around a lot. Dak needs to take care of the football. If Dak takes care of the football and has like a career low in interceptions, we could be talking about a potential MVP season for Dak. Cowboys could win the division, in my opinion, should win the division, but I don't know. We'll see. The Cowboys are great at letting us Cowboys fans down.
Well, I mean, they've won 12 games 3 years in a row. It's just everybody knows they haven't made the NFC Championship since '95. What do you think about the CD Lamb contract situation? I already turned down $33 million a year.
Really? I mean, I don't know.
I mean, that's wild to say no.
That's crazy.
From like Opelousas, Louisiana. $33 million seems like a lot.
Here's the other thing. Jerry Jones has pissed him off by the stuff that he would, Jerry came out and was super petty, and they seem to be going back and forth with one another. And it just makes you wonder now if CD's not being petty in return. So that's a ton of money. I think he's worthy of that money. I think he probably should accept $33 million a year. And I really don't know that the Cowboys need to go much higher than that. That's a pretty monumental number for a wide receiver.
No, I agree. Are you downgrading him in fantasy drafts because of this contract stuff or no?
Well, I already had him a little bit behind Tyreek. Like I had a pretty big gap between Tyreek and CD. So I still have CD as like, well, wide receiver 2, but I would have no problem bumping Jamar Chase above him if this continues.
Yeah, Fantasy Football Factory podcast. Check out the first edition, came out last Thursday. The quarterback one. We've got another new one coming out tomorrow. I've been looking at a lot of DraftKings stuff, and I have some questions. Go ahead.
Well, we got some questions from the chat too, and fire away, chat. We're willing to answer some stuff here today. What happens first? Derek Carr gets benched or Dennis Allen gets fired?
Derek Carr gets benched. I feel like Dennis Allen for the Saints has more job security than he deserves. And I mean, I think that he's going to get through this year no matter what, even if it goes bad and they'd let him go at the end of the year, even if they're like 6-11. I think that he gets through the year. I think Derek Carr, though, if they're the Saints are like 3-7, they could take him out. My question about Carr, Moody, I don't know if the Saints can keep him healthy behind this offensive line. He got beat up really bad last year, early in the season, and played through it and was really struggling. And I have concerns about that because right now, left guard and right tackle look like big problems.
Yeah, the Saints are going to have one of the worst offensive lines in all of football, and that's not good for a quarterback. He's had rib injuries in the past. He's dealt with the shoulder. I mean, I could see Derek Carr getting slammed into the ground a few times early on in the season. And then if the Saints are not winning, maybe he just kind of bows out. Because I will give Derek Carr credit. When games have been on the line, he's been willing to play injured. But if you start the season and you're in the hole 1-3, 2-4, something like that, your willingness to go out there and put your body on the line is it's not there, Well,
at least they open with Carolina, so I still feel pretty good about that. I know
who will be the worst team in the NFL.
I know who you think.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say the Patriots.
Okay, I think that's fair. Their defense good enough to make them contenders or competitive against bad teams, though, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, who do you think the worst team is?
Oh, the Giants. As long as Daniel Jones is out there, that's going to be the worst team in the NFL. Daniel Jones is a trash bag. It brings me joy to bag on Daniel Jones. You can see, my face lit up there. It's so much fun. It's one of my favorite pastimes is watching Daniel Jones get hit 7, 8, 10 times on a Sunday. It's great.
I think Carolina could be the worst too. I mean, I know that there's some hype on Dave Canales, and they brought in a new coach, and they brought in Deontay Johnson, a receiver from Pittsburgh, but I just think Bryce Young sucks, and I don't think Canales is going to be able to save him.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. That's going to be a bad team as well.
Yeah, they're going to be pretty horrible. I was looking at some prop stuff for DraftKings. That was interesting. Do you think there's any shot Xavier Worthy 11-1 could lead rookies in receiving yards, or will he not have enough of a target share?
Yeah, I mean, why not, right? It feels like he's going to be a top 3 receiver for them. I mean, there's a chance he gets a ton of touches. We look at his usage so far during the preseason. I understand it's preseason. He's been out there like 81% of the snaps with the starters. So I expect to see him get a lot of run. I think at 11-1, that's a great number. He is my favorite rookie receiver, not only because of the talent that he has, but because of the situation there with Patrick Mahomes, and it feels like he's going to get a starter share. So you give me volume with a guy that's that quick, that talented, and has the best quarterback in the NFL, I would be willing to lay 11-1 right there on Xavier Worthy to lead all rookies in yards. Obviously, Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be a competitor because I do like MHJ as well.
Yeah, well, his target share is going to be good. He's going to be the number 1 receiver in Arizona. I kind of share some of the same concerns about Malik Neighbors that you have just because of the Daniel Jones thing. He's super talented. I'm not saying he isn't. I just think he landed in a bad situation.
I don't think he's that talented.
No.
Talking about Daniel Jones?
No, Malik Neighbors.
Oh, my bad. I caught the end of that. Yeah. My bad. I
was saying he's just in a tough situation because
Malik Neighbors is very talented. This sucks for Malik Neighbors. It's the one place Malik Neighbors did not need to land. I mean, here's the thing. Even if Daniel Jones was competent, which he's not, that offensive line is never going to give him enough time for Malik Neighbors to run a complete route tree. Everything they're going to do is going to have to be underneath. So while there may be a decent amount of catches there for Neighbors this year, I don't know that he's going to have a lot of downfield usage, and that's one of the spots that he thrived as a player at LSU, the ability to attack downfield. So Malik Neighbors does have a complete route tree. He's a very good route runner, obviously an elite talent here, but I just do not think he's going to be able to achieve what we want to see from him because he's got Daniel Jones as quarterback.
How many games do you think the Giants win? Like 4?
Yeah. I think that's a good number.
Gosh.
Yeah. Maybe 4. We'll see. I actually think Daniel Jones will not survive the season. That's where I'm at. And I wouldn't blame him. I really wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, they were trying to move up to get Drake May in the draft and couldn't from the 6th pick. So that obviously not the biggest vote of confidence for Daniel Jones. It's not going to help him not having Saquon Barkley either.
No, that's the thing. They actually got worse from everything that I've seen. I don't see it for the Giants or for Daniel Jones. Smacky Jable says Daniel Jones is buns. Couldn't agree more. Our boy D's Nuts was saying I should call into the Pick Central show and express my sentiment. I guess Marty hates Daniel Jones as well. Is that?
Yeah, I know Ev does. Ev freaked out on draft night when they took him. It's like a legendary Barstool rant.
Yeah, don't blame him. Let's see what else we got on here from the boys. The Bucs ceiling is getting to the NFC Championship game. They will win the NFC South, says Luke.
So the Bucs
about that.
The Bucs, okay. So if you like the Bucs, I think they're like plus 280, almost plus 300 on DraftKings right now to win the NFC South because the Atlanta Falcons hype train is rolling and getting kind of out of control. When you look at Atlanta adding Matthew Judon for a 3rd-round pick and signing Justin Simmons, they're beefing up their D. Obviously, everybody knows they have Cousins at Penix now with Bijan, Drake London, and Kyle Pitts. But I still don't know that they should be minus 140. I mean, I still got to see them do it on the field. The Tampa thing is interesting, and it's a good debate. Just a lot of people think Mayfield's going to regress this year. I kind of do, too, a little bit. Some of the stuff I look at, he had 24 passes that could have been intercepted last year and only threw 10, which is kind of lucky. By comparison, Josh Allen had 21 passes that could be picked, and he had 18. And I feel like he's going to turn the ball over more. As good as Mike Evans was last year, he's a year older. They didn't really get younger. I mean, they do have a pretty good offensive line, but also curious how Liam Cohen, the new offensive coordinator, does replacing Dave Canales, who is obviously very good enough to get the head job at Carolina. But the Bucs, though, if you like telling him if he likes them, take them to win the NFC South. I mean, that's 3-1 is good odds. I feel like they've won it the last few years. They've won it 3 years in a row.
Yeah, I'm buying the Atlanta hype just a little bit. I mean, I'm not all in by any means. I think there's no division that's maybe more wide open than the NFC South. It feels that way. There's no clear-cut team. Atlanta has question marks, right? Like, yeah, they made a lot of good moves this offseason, but we haven't seen it on the field yet in a regular season game. I need to see it to believe it. I think the Bucs at 3-1 is pretty solid odds right there for a division that is that wide open.
Yeah, no, I think the Bucs 3-1. It's good value. I wish I had more faith in the Saints at plus 350, but like I said, I've been pretty outspoken about what I think on that front. I just don't have the faith, unless Clint could, it will be interesting to see how they use Taysom because they were playing him at running back and fullback in that preseason game. So hopefully he gets more touches this year. And I think Clint Kubiak, the new offensive coordinator, is not going to ignore him. But
no, I think that's fair. Sir Chief Bud Powell says, would rather trust Mahomes to Worthy than Murray to Marvin Harrison Jr. And he says he's never trusting Jones. Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. I think, look, Patrick Mahomes is that much better than Kyler Murray. I'm a little bit of a Kyler Murray believer, but he is so much less talented than Mahomes. That's because Mahomes is the greatest player to ever touch a football.
Do you buy Murray bouncing back a little bit this year?
Yes, I'm a big believer that from a fantasy perspective, Kyler Murray is going to bounce back. How good Arizona is going to be, I don't really know because that defense is awful. But from a fantasy perspective, I love it because that means Kyler Murray is going to have to be out there throwing the ball a ton, running the ball, doing everything he can late to put them back in the football game. So I love it from a fantasy perspective. I think Kyler Murray is a very valuable asset this year, especially where he's going in drafts. Now, real life value, I still think you're looking at a football team that's average at best.
Yeah, I think they did fight down the stretch though. Like
They did. They were scrappy down the stretch. That was once he came back, the relationship he started to build with Trey McBride was there. I don't trust that defense by any means. If they're going to win a lot of games, Kyler Murray is going to have an MVP caliber season.
Looking at that NFC West, obviously the Niners are a huge favorite. This Ayuk saga continues to roll on. I'm hoping they re-sign him.
Yeah, it's been really interesting. They had a deal in place, I guess. They've had a couple of deals in place from what it sounded like, and they don't happen for some reason. So this is one thing that's interesting whenever with like sports media, you'll see one report from one place saying they've got a deal almost done. And then 30 minutes later, you see a press release from somebody else saying that they're going to re-sign Ayuk. So you never really know exactly where the information is factual. I think that it's probably smart at this point for the 49ers just to re-sign him, make a run at another Super Bowl.
Yeah, I do too. You got your window open and, looking around the rest of the West, do you think the Rams or Seattle has a better chance to challenge them?
I think the Rams have a better chance. I'm a big believer in Matthew Stafford. I like the guy. He's a gunslinger. He's got weapons on the outside. But this is another team that's going to have a terrible defense. I actually think Arizona and the Los Angeles Rams are very, very similar. They're going to have good offenses. They're going to move the football, but they're going to give up a ton of points defensively, and they should play a lot of high-scoring games, especially the Rams, indoor, on turf. I think this is a team that should score a lot of points but give up a lot of points. I just don't know that either one of these teams are complete enough to give a 49ers team that may be the most complete team in the NFL a challenge.
Yeah, but I still give the Rams the benefit of the doubt more than the Cardinals, obviously.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, same.
Yeah, I'm curious on that. I think you mentioned that the NFC South is the most wide open division. I don't know if it's as wide open, but the AFC North to me is the toughest because all four. You can make a case for all four teams. I'm not a believer in Russell Wilson. How soon do you think we see Justin Fields this year?
I don't think we see Justin Fields. I've been pretty adamant about this. I don't think we see Justin Fields. I think you're more likely to see Justin Fields line up as a receiver or a running back or a tight end than you are to see Justin Fields getting legitimate snaps at quarterback. He may come in, run a couple wildcat plays, something along those lines. I do not think there'll be a point this season where Russell Wilson is bad enough to warrant Justin Fields taking over at quarterback.
I disagree. I think we're going to see Fields in like week 5 or 6. I just think Russell's going to really struggle in that offense. I mean, I know the Steelers aren't paying him much money because they're on the hook. So I get that. But
see, I think Russell Wilson is a pretty good fit for Pittsburgh. They play these lower scoring, ugly games, and they just need Russ to make a few plays throughout the course of the game and not lose them the contest. And I think he's capable of doing that. I think he is much more capable of not losing you a game than Justin Fields is of not losing you a game.
No, I get that. There's going to be all these 12-9 Steelers games in the fourth.
That's who they are. That's not going to change anytime soon. It doesn't matter who's quarterback, I think.
It's going to be ugly. Do you think Deshaun Watson in Cleveland where are you on that?
One of the biggest question marks for me of the entire season, because this is a Super Bowl caliber roster. I mean, this is a roster that could win you a Super Bowl. That defense is elite. They've got everything you need defensively. Solid offensive line. Love Amari Cooper. I know he's a year older, but he's still the man. And Njoku at tight end's very solid. They'll get Nick Chubb back about halfway through the season. The talent is there. The question is the franchise quarterback that you traded all the capital for, gave all the money to, is he willing? Is he capable of leading you to the promised land? Or is he just capable of going to the massage parlor? We don't, things we got to find out here with Deshaun Watson. In Deshaun Watson's defense, he got dinged up midway, like week 3 or 4 last year, played through it, kept getting hurt, tried to play through it, had to miss a couple games. Like, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt that he was injured. If he's healthy, maybe he's capable. The one thing that really sticks out to me with Deshaun Watson, it looks like he hates the cold weather, though. And you're going to get a lot of that in Cleveland. He does not play very well in the cold weather. And that's one of my major concerns for Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, I know. I'm worried too. It's funny. But no, the thing about him is he's so underhyped now.
Mm-hmm.
Like nobody believes in him anymore at all.
My best friend is a Cleveland Browns fan. His grandpa played for the Cleveland Browns. He's in the Cleveland Browns Hall of Fame. So my best friend is as diehard of a Browns fan that of anybody that I know, and he thinks that they're a playoff team. So I'm gonna trust his opinion on this one.
They made it last year with Flacco. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't disagree that Stefanski's a good coach, and I like the O-line, and they're really not that bad. I mean, Flacco was chunking at the end of the year for sure. But
And Deshaun Watson's capable of that. We saw him in Houston. He has not looked like the same quarterback in Cleveland that we saw in Houston. The improvisation, and some of those plays were luck. I mean, occasionally you're going to have a play that you just luck into, but we haven't really seen any of those just wow plays since he's been in Cleveland that he gave us whenever he was in Houston.
The team I like in the North is the Bengals. Like I said, I've been outspoken on here talking about I think the Burrow bounce back. I love them showing up with the Slim Shady look for training camp, and I think they're the one team. They're the one team that's proven they can beat the Chiefs in the playoffs.
Yeah, they are the one team that's proven it. Vegas has them as the favorite. I mean, they're basically co-favorites with Baltimore to win the division. Joe Burrow, one of the coolest, calmest quarterbacks at the position. He's got elite weapons on the outside. My question is, can they keep him upright? If Cincinnati is able to keep him upright, yes. I do think that the Bengals are going to be one of the best teams in all of football. I like the Ravens to win the division. I think they made the correct move this offseason in acquiring Derrick Henry. I think they're just going to run the ball down people's throats. I think that's going to open up more things for Lamar because of the zone read and some of these things that they do. They're going to run some option probably with him as well. I think that that's very beneficial for Lamar Jackson. I like this Baltimore Ravens team. I think these are two teams that both make the playoffs and are both Super Bowl contenders.
Yeah, last year you had all four teams in that division with winning records. It was the first time that's ever happened in NFL history. Not sure. The Steelers thing, it's like every year I keep thinking this is going to be the year they don't win 9-10 games, and they always do it.
Yeah, agreed. It feels like this could be the year that they finally go under 500.
Yeah. I mean, I've been saying that for years, though. And
yeah, but you're right.
Mike
Tomlin deserves a ton of credit. He has done an incredible job as the Pittsburgh Steelers leader. His ability to get the most out of his players is maybe the best in the NFL. I mean, he really does do a hell of a job of maximizing his players' potential.
Oh, especially on defense.
Especially on defense, yeah. I was about to say some of his receivers, maybe they don't get their potential maximized.
Yeah, no, it's a standard. No, it's impressive what they've done. Looking around, I'm curious on the AFC South stuff. You were outspoken Trevor Lawrence believer. They had a good year last year through about 70 or 75% of it, just completely collapsed down the stretch. Do you blame that on injuries? Like, what do you think about them this year? Can they bounce back and win that?
Yeah, Lawrence got hurt, man. I had him. God, I had so many Jacksonville futures last year. I had them to be the number one seed, and they were right there. They were tied for the one seed, and then he got hurt, and things just fell apart down the stretch without Trevor Lawrence. So
he played, he just wasn't as good.
Yeah, well, he missed a couple games too, and that cost them for sure. And he was hurt. I'm still a believer. I think Trevor Lawrence is one of the more talented players in the NFL. Their play calling drove me crazy at times, man. They would march the ball down the field, and then their play calling would be awful in the red zone. Their red zone offense was one of the worst in the NFL last year. If they can figure out how to fix that, this is a good football team. I know they lost Calvin Ridley, who is a talent, but they replaced him with Gabe Davis. I'm a Jacksonville believer. I think they're probably the best team in the South. I don't love any of the teams from the South. I would still take Jacksonville over Houston. And I know that's kind of blasphemy to say right now because everybody's in on the Texans. I'm still just a little bit more of a believer in Houston. I mean,
so I would like to ask about that because I do like Houston. I'm a big Miko.
I like Houston, but I like Jacksonville just that much more.
Just a touch more.
Yeah.
Well, looking at Houston, I mean, the receiving core now with Tank Dell and Nico Collins and Stephon Diggs with Stroud, and you got franchise left tackle and Tunzel and elite corner and Stingley and Will Anderson rushing the passer. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot to like there.
Again, this would not surprise me to see both of those teams get in. One wins the division, one gets a wild card spot. I think that's possible for these two teams. Houston won a lot of really close games lately where at the end of last season, where CJ Stroud has willed them to victory. If a couple of those situations go differently, they don't make the playoffs last year. So I think you could be looking at something similar where maybe this year you get the inverse of that, where they lose a couple of close games and they don't win the division.
On the rest of that division front, you've said a lot about Anthony Richardson as of odds, just that we got to see it to believe it. Whether it be in fantasy or real life, what are your expectations of the Colts?
I love Jonathan Taylor. I like the Colts roster. Honestly, it's a pretty solid roster defensively. They've got talent there. It's just, is Anthony Richardson reliable? We just flat out don't know. I have no definitive answer there for you because we've seen him in such a small sample size. He looked okay, didn't throw the ball well, but obviously looked good rushing the football. I think he's always going to be a mediocre passer with elite legs that's an injury risk because of the way he plays football. And it's tough to feel like you can rely on a quarterback like that whenever they're always an injury risk every time they pull it down to run. I don't know. I'm not there on the Colts, but they are a scrappy team for damn sure. We lose you, Mintz?
Yeah, I'm not as big. I also have concerns about Richardson too. Just the throwing. He completed like 50-something% of his passes in Florida. And if you don't dominate college football, like that's all a red flag.
Can't tell if that's my internet or his. Let me know, chat. I think it's probably Mintz's internet. All right, let's hit some of the chat real quick. Chris Womack says, yeah.
You're good.
You're good? Okay.
Yeah,
I can hear you. Can't really see you though. Chris Womack says Joe always comes back stronger after. Yeah, it's Mintz, huh? Dog chewed through a wire. You might be right, Dalton. Yeah, it definitely is. I figured it was. I was looking at my other screen. I could see me moving around. All right, well, I'll carry this. We'll see if he reconnects real quick. Hopefully he does. CJ Stroud, sophomore slump. I don't necessarily think a sophomore slump for CJ Stroud. I don't think that's what's going to happen here. I think it'll be more just simply the fact that this team won a lot of really close games last year that I don't know that they can win again. Here we go. So we got it back now. You back? See you, Mintz. What else do we have? Oh, yeah. I like this one from Chris Womack. Joe always comes back stronger after a setback or injury. How long can he keep that up? Don't know, but I'll ride with him until he does. And I think that's fair, right? Joe Burrow has proven to us at this point that he is one of the most not only elite quarterbacks as far as talent is concerned, but one of the most elite players up here mentally. And I think Joe Burrow he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. I flat out love Joe Burrow. Bo Nix Rookie of the Year. Hey, I'm in on Bo Nix Rookie of the Year, by the way. I'm in on it. That's something we talked about a little bit yesterday, Eric. I'm in on it, bro. I am in on Bo Nix as a potential Rookie of the Year candidate because of Sean Payton, not as so much because of Bo Nix. He's not ever going to be the most talented quarterback in the NFL, but he's got a coach who drafted him because he fits the scheme, right? A quarterback that gets rid of the ball quickly, on time, and accurate. And I think that's going to really benefit Bo Nix here. It looks like Mintz may be tapped out for the day, boys. He said his internet is struggling. Let's end it. He said he'll do a different location tomorrow. So we'll go ahead and start to wrap things up here. I'll wrap things up for Wake Up Mintzy. Looks like he's going to be done for the day. So if we have any other questions, we'll hit them real quick, and then we'll turn this thing in for the day. The franchise said running backs are known for improving in year 9. You're right. That's why so many get third contracts. And he's talking about Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is a year older, but Derrick Henry has broken the mold for running backs, right? This is a big-bodied dude who they're really going to rely on in the red zone. And I don't think that's going to leave for Derrick Henry anytime soon. He's not going to wake up one day and be 5'10", you know? It's just he's slightly different. He broke the mold, and I'm okay with Derrick Henry this season. Yeah, eventually he's going to start to fade. But all right, Marvin Harrison, sleeper for Rookie of the Year. Yeah, I like Marvin Harrison too. I know Stephen Che is fading Marvin Harrison just a bit. He doesn't think he's going to have a bad season. He just thinks that it's going to be tough for Marvin Harrison Jr. to live up to the hype. So that's fair. I think that's fair. Rookie receivers normally don't have elite seasons, but Marvin Harrison Jr. has a different pedigree than most rookie receivers. You know what I mean, boys? Yes, Cortland Sutton is undervalued. Cortland Sutton is somebody that I am targeting in damn near all my fantasy drafts. I think where he's going in drafts, you're not going to find players at that time that have more upside than Cortland Sutton. And by the way, Bo Nix and Cortland Sutton, I don't know. I saw yesterday Cortland Sutton talking about how much he was enjoying Bo Nix and how things are different with Bo Nix. So yeah, that's definitely got me hyped around Cortland Sutton and Bo Nix as well. Smacky Jables, why is Keenan Allen's ADP so low? I think because he's stepping in as the number 2 wide receiver. DJ Moore is the number 1 there. And I think that's one of the main reasons that Keenan Allen's ADP is so low. He's coming in allegedly at 230 pounds, by the way. If he's 230 pounds, we're talking about a guy that's dealt with hamstring injuries, is an injury concern, and the extra weight is not going to help him by any means. And what, Keenan Allen's probably 30, 29 now? How old's Keenan Allen? He might be 31. 32. Keenan Allen's 32 years old now. That's a guy that is going to start to fade because of the leg injuries. All right, boys, let's start to wrap this thing up here. Appreciate everybody joining us. Obviously, sorry that we lost Mintzy. Mintz has some interviews scheduled tomorrow with some Ole Miss folks, and hopefully we'll be able to get to those. We're going to have him in a different situation with his internet. Everything was going fine. Obviously sucks that it faded away right there at the end. Appreciate y'all joining us here this morning for Wake Up Mintzy. Shout out to our boys at Dude Wipes. I mean, there's nothing better than Dude Wipes. They'll change their game. If you have mud butt, it'll get rid of your mud butt. And shout out to Stella Blue Coffee, Brick Watch Company. And appreciate everybody for joining us this morning on YouTube, on Rumble. And shout out from the boot. We'll be back tomorrow with Wake Up Mintzy. Have a good day, boys.